Another Hisuian Gudra V-Star piloted by Cyrus here today, and they are looking to take this slimy Pokemon into a top 8 finish.
On V, potentially something that has helped get to this stage, not exactly going to be helpful in a situation like this.
And it is going to be kind of a rough matchup, at least on paper for Liam. You kind of have to harbor back to the Palkia versus Duraludon match, where you're not really going to have much of a bench, you're going to be healing a bunch, and Palkia is basically doing the same thing, but a little different.
Yeah, this is one of those matchups where just having a damage cap is so awkward, because Liam's going to be trying everything in their power to do everything in their power to limit the amount of damage coming down, and we know just how big that is when you're using the Hisuian Gudra. You can close out, you can really use the use of all of this healing and these impactful defense tools to make sure that this Pokemon sticks around for a long time.
And hopefully it will be a long time. These players have basically 50 minutes until we get to decide if they make it into top 8 or not. And honestly, fireworks.
Well, 32 points for both players means that this is absolutely crucial to see a winner in this stage. A tie certainly means that both players will not be making the top cut. So looking to see some nice quick pace play. Excited to see who is going to end up on top here.
All right, players have flipped over their basics. And now just waiting on those prize cards. The ever so important prize cards, you know. Can't play the game without them.
Yep, some too terrible for either player here. Nice variety in the mix, and of course, we're always looking at that Hisuian Gudra count, and it looks like the 2-2 line is going to be untouched in the prize cards, at least now, for Cyrus.
Cyrus also having it's not too bad. All right, it looks like our players are ready. Let's get things down and get these Pokemon flipped over. Round 15 here in Peoria. Cyrus starting off with that Hisuian Gudra V.
That is quite the art. Big fan over here.
Cyrus starting things off with a quick ball, discards that Zamazenta V. Granted, this is not the matchup for that, so it's a pretty easy choice. And now they will be able to find Arceus V, and this is where you really want to start off. You get that Arceus V down in play, get an energy attached to it. Next turn is where you have to do the big thinking.
You mean find an evolution incense or an Arceus V-Star?
It takes a lot sometimes. And
honestly, it is kind of difficult sometimes, and you build the deck to do just that, and when it doesn't work like that, that's when things get really awkward. I haven't seen the rest of the hand just yet for Cyrus, but you have to be thinking energy
I saw
would be impactful.
It's not very good.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, you know what feels great when you don't play energy down? Looking at your opponent, drop the battle VIP pass. We see two of the favorite cards of this deck here, that Radiant Greninja and that Palkia V-Star origin form, of course.
Yeah, don't want to get it confused with the other Palkia V-Stars out there that don't exist.
They haven't been discovered yet,
yeah,
Jeremy.
Yeah, that's true. Now this Battle VIP Pass will grab that Radiant Greninja, and that is such a powerful Pokemon for this Origin Form Palkia deck, where you can discard energy to draw 2 cards with that concealed cards. It's also...
Yep, we know that softening Pokemon when they have the high hit points can be a great strategy in a lot of decks. Not sure if this is exactly the one that these Pokemon can make that a poor strategy. 90 can turn, so that's going to be something to watch for.
Speaking of Crystal Clave, there's also 3 copies of Hyper Potion, card that we saw yesterday used a great benefit. Being able to discard, not really going to be doing that much damage. That Hyper Potion is going to be ever so important.
Yeah, great to note that Hyper Potion can certainly be a big factor here to watch for. Energies early are important. Also, making sure that you have those late are great. And where are the energies? I haven't seen one.
Both players just took it out of their decks.
That's not how you make top 8.
Ordinary Rod shuffle back the Zamazenta V. Yeah, they are not in a good position.
The double ordinary rod in the opening hand is certainly a yikes.
Oh.
We do see the double turbo in hand. Is there a switch?
No switch, no way to get an Arceus V-Star as of yet, at least.
Looks like there is just the one raw switch
no.
and the escape rope in the deck to find some energies here by way of the item cards. It looks like Drizzile is going to be the play here. Shady Dealings opening the deck back up and giving some life to Liam in his hand.
Yeah, this Shady Dealings will be able to find Irida. Irida will be able to find another Drizzile and that Capacious Bucket. One of the most needed cards right now for Liam, especially missing that energy turn 1. Now you're able to concealed cards attach to energy for turn. And if you maybe want to waste the Star Portal, you can go ahead and get that energy as well. But it's never where you want to be.
Are those the Holland Phantom energies?
Oh, yeah. Showing off.
Those energies are older than some seniors.
That is pretty crazy to think about.
Well, we are going to see those pitched into the discard pile by way of concealed
no.
cards. Wow, what a great find there. Take your friends backstage. Oh, that's a second turn.
Battle VIP Pass is such a powerful card, but you can only use it during your first turn. So those are with the energy in hand. You can attach it. You can retreat. Evolution Incense for that Palkia V-Star. Star Portal, get a subspace swell.
Well, this is such a big turn to potentially find additional Pokemon. So, of course, if those were actual basic Pokemon, we could see a knockout this turn. It wasn't that hard to find. Well, actually, the Radiant Gardevoir makes it a little more difficult. The Zigzagoon would have had to see play. We'll see if it's in the cards here. It's so tough. Quick Ball going to be the find. It looks like just that Origin Form Palkia V now. And we do see the Evolution Incense. Certainly have to think that Palkia V-Star is going to make its presence felt here.
Yeah, the turn is a little bit better with the second Drizzile finding that Capacious Bucket. That allowed Liam to be able to discard a Water Energy with that Quick Ball. And now with the retreat for the turn, you can get the full 3 energy off Star Portal from that Origin Form Palkia V-Star. And so at least you're maximizing your opportunities here. You're still not going to be able to take the knockout.
It looked like base 160 right now for the Origin Form Palkia V-Star. There is a belt in the hand, but if you're not taking the knockout, understandably so, just want to hold on to a precious resource like that and make sure to...
Crystal Cave, the stadium for Cyrus here, able to heal off 30 damage from that Hisuian Goodra V.
We were a quick ball away from a huge knockout here, and instead the Goodra will continue to play on, and down goes another hand for Cyrus. Double turbo, the quadruple turbo on the Arceus V. And will it ever evolve?
Looking at this hand, I don't think so just yet. The way this Goodra V-Star deck is built is a lot like the Duraludon VMAX, where you're just playing Arceus, you're just playing the Goodras, and you have that new card in Radiant Gardevoir, but there's no Crobat to try to dig through the deck a little bit more. There's no card like a Rangaroo or B-Barrel, and this is going to give Liam an easy 2 prizes to open up this game 1 here. Concealed cards finds Path to the Peak, and that could be a huge card as well. And
that's just going to be a closeout game here. 8 minutes on the clock. And Cyrus understanding that they're going to need as much time as possible to win 2.
Shaked out is you don't have much of anything. You're played by Liam. You're dealing, what, 160 damage with the quadruple turbo?
Yes, it's not very impactful. You already have a damaged Goodra. You're trying to set up a second one. You're throwing away a Hisuian Goodra V-Star in order to even get there. You're just asking for way too much from your deck at this point. So just reset, try again, and see what you have. With 41 minutes left, it's plenty of time to get 2 great games of Pokemon in play.
Now that start for Liam, while that turn 1 was a little bit rough.
This is Water Energy. It just shows why this is one of the most featured decks, as you don't need to rely on that opening energy, something that we continue to talk about in the TCG, and sure enough, Cyrus has found double turn. That's something to be seen.
But hey, this is already a much better start for them, having that energy on the Arceus V. Turn 1, you have an Ultra Ball in hand, so that means you'll be able to get that V-Star and Star Birth for, whatever you need. And already looking a lot better. Meanwhile, Liam starts things off with an Irida. You love to see it. That's going to be able to find something like that Battle VIP pass if you want, and that Radiant Greninja.
Of course, plenty of time on the clock. Go ahead and make sure to figure out every little resource there. Battle VIP Pass, of course, being one of those most crucial cards in the opening turn. Being able to search out those additional Pokemon, going to be able to set up a decent bench here, and we know how important it is to have the early Drizziles on the second scene yet, which means that there will be an opportunity on an attacking turn to potentially close out on that 220 hit points.
Well, it looks like Battle VIP Pass and that Radiant Greninja are going to be the cards chosen. You can Battle VIP Pass for another Origin Form Palkia V and a Sobble, most likely. Liam already has a Sobble in hand, and now just needs to find some energy to get things going with that concealed cards. And oh yeah, that's a little awkward. I don't think I saw
Irida and you go for the Battle VIP Pass, it means that you have access to an energy, or else you would have just grabbed the Capacious Bucket and tried with the Radiant Greninja to draw into one of those ways to find additional Pokemon. So I'm going to hope. but there, of course, is a scenario where you just say, I need to get all these basic Pokemon down. I'll try to evolve them next turn, and a Drizzile could certainly get me out of this situation.
Okay, there was that one hiding out in the back of the hand. Finds another Battle VIP Pass. Not really needed. You already got that Sobble in hand, but you're able to...
Not really needed. Hard to see. Just maybe it only needs one target, but that is a crucial target here in the Sobble, being able to have that second Drizzile potentially on the following turn.
And Liam already has that third Sobble in hand to go along with it, so what could be a full bench here, and now has pretty much what you need for your turn 1. Now you just have to brace for a Trinity Nova coming from Cyrus' side of things.
Yep, this is a real debate if you want to play this down. Of course, you want to fill your bench and do as much damage as you can, but if you want to get to the magic number to knock out a Goodra with the Radiant Gardevoir potentially in play, or if it's just not in play in general, you have that 20 reduction, you're going to need to use the Zigzagoon and the Choice Belt most likely to get the job to prove impactful here.
Cyrus just thinking what to discard. Radiant Gardevoir gets the choice with Quick Ball.
Go ahead, Echoing Horn. I dare you.
And now with the Ultra Ball, discards Boss's Orders and Avery. We'll be able to find the Arceus V-Star, get that Star Birth going. Finding, Marnie Energy, it looks like, maybe. I don't know if you want to attach that Quadruple Turbo.
Yeah, I suppose it's not terribly relevant whether you attack with a basic energy here or the double turbo, because you're going to be two-piecing the Palkia regardless. Pokemon, or honestly, I don't even know what else you'd need at this point. You very well could see the energy at.
I guess maybe Big Charm?
Yeah, I could see that. Zamazenta. Maybe just thinking of a card that you want to put on the bottom of the deck, and yeah, actually going to go with the Big Charm here. Find a card that could potentially make an impact.
All right, this Arceus V-Star going to have a 4 energy on it with those double turbos. Big Charm and then a Marnie. No cards in hand for Cyrus, so they're going to draw 5 off the top. Meanwhile, Liam will shuffle that hand, put it to the bottom, draw 4. And like you said, the double Big Charm actually, so pretty insane turn 2 here for Cyrus.
Yeah, the hand is, you're going to have the Trinity Nova here helping out, getting these additional energies onto the Hisuian Goodra. You have that Big Charm, so just the V-Star left to start to really perform your deck to deal a nice consistent damage and maybe work in some healing cards off the top of the deck.
Yeah, because if you think about it, Roiling Iron doing 200 damage, you reduce 80 during your opponent's next turn.
you take away their bench and say go. Like that's that definitely makes an impact on the game.
Capacious Bucket will find 2 water energy for Liam here. Going to start things off with the concealed cards. Finds an Inteleon.
Well, when you see Inteleon, you think Rare Candy, but I don't believe that this is a list featuring that card right now. So maybe a little more help. Scoop up net, water energy. Oh, okay. Yep, you just find double evolution incense. That's
how you
good.
write it up. Evolution Incense will be able to find a Drizzile. Drizzile can find something like the Irid. Cross Switcher might be... Oh. Things have gone a little dark here, but we'll be able to start. I went with it. It was wrong. Yeah.
Well, we see that second evolution incense here. The Drizzile is going to be coming down. You start to wonder in situations like this, is there a magical turn on the horizon? Can you potentially work in the double cross switcher, belt Zigzagoon tool scrapper to get that Hisuian Gudra? I don't think that that's a possibility. I don't think the cards exist. The tool scrapper is not featured here for Liam, so it's going to have to be multiple shots yet again.
Well, there we see that Origin Form Palkia V-Star on the benched one, Hisuian Gudra V with that big charm energy for the turn. And we're going to see that Star Portal V-Star power, 3 energy on Liam's damaged Palkia as well. And Subspace Swell for 180. Roiling Iron has not been activated yet, so getting the most out of your damage.
Wow. Well, we featured in Cyrus's hand, but other than that, not much going on here. Looks like the retreat is in order.
Oof, no slip and trip.
I'm tripping.
Again, with the retreat to the 3 retreat cost means Hyper Potion's not really going to be a thing to heal. Still have some left in the deck. That'll be fine. And just 3 left. Wow.
Yeah, I love this. Understanding exactly the counts that they have in the deck means that you can get all of these energies onto the Hisuian Gudra, and then if potentially your opponent uses a boss's orders to KO a Gudra on the other side, you now have that Ordinary Rod that can potentially grab that Pokemon back instead of just 3 energies.
Cyrus has left both of those Origin Form Palkia V and V-Star heavily damaged, 160. Just another attack will be able to take the KO. That's 4 prizes laid out for Cyrus here. But Liam still has the power of just, getting these attacks off, maybe taking them
on the board is pretty relevant. Now Liam just really has in range of being knocked out. It's such a tricky spot. Your big attackers right now are within range of being KO'd.
Yeah, it's also got to be a little hard for Liam here, as you have that one cross switcher. It can pivot around them and eventually heal off, maybe find that Crystal Cave, Hyper Potions. And if Liam is not able to get that boss's orders to chain together, finding the cross switcher from the prizes, then it's going to be a long haul of a game.
Yep, could see plenty of attacks into the certainly a welcome sight here for Liam, going to be able to get that energy down on and what looks to be a Slobberknocker.
Marnie off the top for Cyrus will allow them to actually play the game a little bit this turn. Will be able to Ordinary Rod 2 energy back if they want. Marnie will be able to draw, and really looking for that Hisuian Gudra V-Star.
Yeah,
one of them in the prizes.
A little bit of a debate. Can just grab the 2 energies here. No Pokemon really to be featured. I suppose you can grab the Gardevoir, but it's the same thing with the Echoing Horn.
It really just, it does nothing on the bench. It adds 20 to Subspace Swell, but it reduces 20. So
I heard.
Marnie will shuffle both players' hands, put it to the bottom of the deck. Cyrus is drawing 5 now, looking for that V-Star or a way to get it. Oh, that's the wrong V-Star.
You got to be specific, Jeremy.
Yeah, you're right,
Commentator's
Kyle,
curse.
Do have the double turbo energy. They can attach it and Hyper Potion it off, but choosing to attach it to the fresh Gudra V, taking the knockout with that Trinity Nova, and we'll be able to charge up that damaged one. So While looking all right, not being able to find that Gudra V-Star is still churning along. And, oh, didn't get it from the prize.
That would have been something else. But yeah, this is a great strategy from Cyrus, just understanding that this Gudra with the 5 energies is likely going to be the game winner. You need to set up one Pokemon that can continually... The deck has to help at some point.
Yeah, well, looking at the prizes, you got that Hisuian Gudra V-Star and an Ultra Ball to go along with it, so everything's just a little bit more taxed. Cyrus did play an Ultra Ball during turn 2 to find that Arceus V-Star, and just with the way things have been drawing for them, no V-Star just yet for that Gudra.
And, I mean, the only thing you really need is water energy and the eventual evolution of the Palkia V-Star. You hope that that will be able to help you out here. And finally, some prizes coming down for Liam now.
Use it with an attachment of the energy for the turn. Now that Gudra on the bench just has 60, and Cyrus opts to play the Marnie instead of that Professor's Research in the hand, hoping to find that Hisuian Gudra V-Star off the top yet again.
Yep. This has been so tough.
Thankfully, with the regular Hisuian Gudra V, you can take the knockout with Rolling Shell. Deals 140 damage and then reduces 30 next turn, so still a little bit of the same game plan.
Yeah, 30 isn't as cool. I like 80, and it's unfortunate when really you're not asking that much from your deck. You want to just find any way to find your evolution Pokemon. Going to go to the prize cards to find it.
This is the rough turn for Liam here. Unfortunately, had to attack with that damaged Palkia V-Star last turn, which was just an easy KO for Cyrus, and now is going to have to put together a pretty insane couple of turns to try to make this comeback.
Yep, just taking a look at the list. See Evolution Incense going to be likely trying to find the Inteleon, and then you can use Shady Dealings, hopefully line up the Palkia V-Star in combination with a card like Roxanne. You can get your opponent on a lower hand, and maybe the Gudra V-Star and the extra energy never come into play.
Yeah, it's really rough having that last cross-switcher in the prize cards. Usually with decks with Inteleon and those cross-switchers, you're able to just find them whenever you want, and having one of them in the prize cards is always pretty detrimental.
This match here in round number 15. Of course, Liam taking the early game, number 1.
Yeah, that's also going to be a big point of contention for this match. It does look like Cyrus is in the lead here so far, but if they take a little bit longer to win this game, you're going to have what? Sub 20 minutes?
We see definitely the strategies trying to line up with the Hydro Break. The Zigzagoon has made its way into the hand. We see the Inteleon there. If you find the Scoop Up Net ends...
Oh, wow. What a line of play here for Liam. We'll be able to take out the big threat in this Hisuian Gudra.
30 reduction from the attack from the Gudra V is going to be canceled out by the Choice Belt. And then, of course, you just work in that Zigzagoon here. You're going to be able to play that down, get the placement, and then Scoop Up Net gets the additional 10 to close out with a Hydro Break.
And there is that Scoop Up Net yet again. This has been an insane back and forth between both of these players, but just not finding the Gudra V-Star for Cyrus has really hurt them. And we're going to see a big knockout here from Liam. Scoop Up Net that Inteleon, get it for next turn. Hydro Break for the knockout, Kyle.
That is something else. Just one V Pokemon stands in the way. Of course, trying to close out, and does finally see on the other side that Hisuian Gudra V-Star is going to make its appearance. Cyrus looking for a way to get this Pokemon moving, needs to find additional energy, and then maybe think about some disruption, as we know.
Could be the biggest play for Cyrus here. The route to victory for Liam does seem through Echoing Horn. being able to bring back that Arceus V, be able to take the full knockout, and we'll have to see how things shape.
Would have been big if this were a Palkia V-Star.
Radiant Gardevoir came down. All right.
Still plenty of evolutions on the other side available for Liam. But Cyrus is going to cash in on the Rolling Iron here. Dealing 180. Looks like just clarification here on the Radiant Gardevoir. The 20 reduction. Something that both these players are certainly thinking of. Just checking the resources. No water energy. But I don't think that... Not seeing an Echoing Horn.
No, that's that gold one.
Okay, we just got swag. Yeah, the Echoing Horn is found here. The training court as well. That could be a way to potentially retreat.
Oh, no, where's the path to the peak? You need the path to the peak right here. Path to shut off that Radiant Gardevoir reduces the damage.
Going to look. Which Pokemon is going to be targeted here? 220. Yep, going to bring that down. This might be
energy, and that Radiant Gardevoir might just be enough to hold on, at least for this turn here. Unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible with the Zigzagoon going to the discard pile there.
Yeah, well, there's no scoop up net left for
maybe 8 cards there and being shuffled around. Okay, maybe a little more.
6 cards for Liam. What does he find?
To switch potentially. No. We know the counts are low. Gonna cash in right now.
Hydro Break, 210 damage, 10 damage short. Cyrus,
I think that's
the escape rope. But no, you need a way to leave the Palkia.
Sticking around for an additional turn is still huge here. Definitely could line up. Of course, getting the Rolling Iron for that Goodra V-Star means that a knockout is very unlikely on the active Pokemon. The counts are so big here. We've seen so many cross switchers. The boss's orders is certainly something to think about.
Yeah, only one boss's orders for Liam. I believe haven't used it yet, so it could be a big top deck here. Cyrus has a big decision to make, but wow, having the switch out, but it being the escape rope here.
And that's just a knockout. Oh, just a passive the turn.
Oh, that's great play. You already saw Liam have to use Training Court to try to retreat there. And boss's orders in the prizes.
Oh, no. What a play. Just understanding the resources were not there. Stranding the Sobble in the active spot. That is something else.
Listen, they just saw that you were forced to use Training Court to retreat that last turn with the cross switcher and smelled blood in the water. You gotta win any amount or any way that you can, and Cyrus.
I guess that's one real benefit of playing against this Palkia deck as opposed to something from the new set, just about 58 of the cards. So when you see that the Training Court is gone, when you see 7 spot, William going to lose this game, but of course plenty of time left here. This is exactly what we want to see in round number 15. 16 minutes to go, both these players. Peoria.
Gonna have to kick on the afterburners a little bit. It's gonna Hisui and Goodra V-Star is on the slower end of things. You're gonna be sticking around a lot with those hyper potions, crystal caves, the rolling iron. It'll all have to be dependent on these first couple of turns.
Goodra players don't like being called slow. We've heard that's not something they like to. They're defensive minded, but yes, the turn 2 attack happens. There's at least 5 or 6 energies on board fairly often early. It's just the damage output isn't exactly what they're eyeing up.
Oh,
V-Star in the prize cards, Arceus and the Goodra. We know there's just one Goodra V-Star left to go then. Not ideal.
Liam prizing 2 Drizziles could be a little worrisome. Might force some scoop-up nets to be used a little earlier than Liam really wants, but starting off things with a Battle VIP pass for this Game 3.
Play the counts so highly for Battle VIP pass when you could have chose the rare candy, the tool scrapper. Leon, who knows? But you know what? Having Pokemon down on turn 1 is a really good way to win.
And that Origin Form Palkia V. Now again, just checking through the prizes, and Liam's like, oh, yeah, Drizzile. You didn't want to show up for Game 3 of round 15? All right.
Yep, when it Drizziles, it pours. Yeah, there are 3 Drizzile in the list, and we will just see by play cards like the Scoop Up Net. Being able to reuse that resource can be pivotal. We also know that 1 is placed in the lower end of the prize cards, so the initial V knockout certainly should open things up. So yeah, these go on the bench.
Concealed cards for that Radiant Greninja. Finds 2 Palkia V-Star in hand, and this isn't the kind of hand you'd really scoop up net concealed cards, but just opting to save it past the turn back. No energy attached for the turn, and now it's up to Cyrus. Their hand is a little better.
Last time that Radiant Greninja was able to find double evolution incense. Now we just give you the raw evolutions, and you're not happy, but it's a... Good to see that they're going down onto the bottom of the deck now by way of that Marnie. Maybe we'll see those evolution incense now. Yep, so we do.
Wow. Two of them.
In a 4-card hand. That is
oh no! Cyrus just passing the turn back. Marnie was not helping them in any. And at that hand, it does have.
It's a good hand.
Yeah.
It just has no energy. To be the play here, Zigzagoon getting the additional damage down onto the Arceus V. Of course,
cards when you only have 1 Sobble in play to use the 1 in the deck anyway.
And look for an item to help out. I can't think of a better one than the belt. The Irida also, obviously, a great choice. You get that Sobble and the choice belt now. I think the energy is available to retreat, and that should mean a turn 2 knockout. The beneficiary of the Star Porter will be Palkia V-Star itself. And what a way to start things off here in game number 3.
Insane to think about it. Even having the extra Sobble thanks to that Irida Star Portal. Just 2 energy, but that is all Liam needs here. Subspace will be able to take the knockout with Choice Belt. Cyrus just left with a Hisuian Gudra V. No energy in play. And a handful of supporters and a Pokemon search.
It took literally every card that Liam had access. Sure enough, finds a Drizzile out of the prizes, which is perfect. There's a Sobble on the bench.
Spot gets more damage on that Hisuian Gudra V-Star. Also could just potentially eye down the Arceus V on Cyrus's board. But Cyrus's turn still is not done just yet.
Wow, those were the perfect cards. Finds the...
Was lacking energy. Cyrus able to finally cobble things together. They found that double turbo. They found that big charm. And now Liam Irida off the top. What is going on with these draws for these players? Round 15, they're showing off.
Yeah, everything that you could potentially ask for from your deck. And now the decision has to be made. Do you want to go after this Hisuian Gudra? Because you can deal some nice damage to it. Maybe if you can incorporate a card like Path to the Peak to avoid a Star Birth on the following turn, that'd be an ideal situation where you cash in on some damage and don't have to worry about your opponent potentially finding a card like Hyper Potion to help out.
Eyeing down a couple cards for Irida. Looks like Inteleon from Sword and Shield is going to be one of the main ones to grab here. It's a Shady Dealings ability. Allows you to grab 2 cards instead of 1, like the Drizzle.
9 minutes to go here in this match. Liam up 2 prize cards from an early Palkia V-Star. And trying to press this advantage.
Looks like Scoop Up Net might be the item found to go along with that Inteleon. Can reuse Inteleon for later, but it also does the important thing of getting it out of the active spot. And a few nets to go along with it. Okay, so double net, Echoing Horn. That adds 40 damage. Or yeah, you have to pick up the active. But so 30 extra damage. That's not going to be enough, is it?
Yeah. So the Echoing Horn would get to 200 and
the last net. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Yeah, we're looking at 200, 230, cancels out with the charm. You need 20 additional damage. You need to get that from double net on this Zigzagoon. I think it all lines up if there's a Pokemon in the discard pile for the Echoing Horn.
Well, how about that Arceus V that was knocked out during the last turn?
That's a good target. Not exactly the one you want to bring up, because then the game plays out.
Yeah, it's technically on for a full turn cycle, and
yeah, I certainly understand this. You don't even playing the Arceus V back onto the bench really negates all of the benefits.
And now all of those dealings that Liam has done here.
These are the biggest cards of the game for sure. We do see that Ultra Ball, absolutely crucial here. Also the Arceus V-Star, just raw.
Goodra and get things rolling.
Yet not having to use the resources of the Ultra Ball and discard this hand down is certainly beneficial here. Holding on to these cards might be crucial. You have that Big Charm still and the Ordinary Rod.
Now, they still have access to Starbirth, but maybe at this point in the game you're thinking Moisture Star might be the more beneficial V-Star power here. And I actually do like this Ordinary Rod, getting rid of any Echoing Horn shenanigans from Liam's side of things, especially since you saw it in the deck thanks to Shady Dealings.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Of course.
Rolling Iron, 200 damage onto that Origin Form Palkia V-Star for Liam's side of things. The only Pokemon actually charged up with energy. And now you get that 80 damage reduction on that Hisuian Goodra V-Star. Evolution Incense will be able to find that Inteleon, so all the cards that were shuffled to the bottom of the deck will be available to Liam here. Eyeing down Boss's Orders and potentially the Scoop Up Net.
Yeah, finding the Boss's Orders is nice. It's been tough to chain together and continually move the active Pokemon if you so choose, and having that opportunity could certainly be beneficial. We're going to see the use of that Drizzile once more by way of the Scoop Up Net. So no additional damage coming from Zigzagoon anytime soon.
Eyeing for the benched one and maybe a Capacious Bucket to go along with it. Energy is definitely going to be needed from Liam here if he wants to just stay in this game, keep attacking. 4 minutes left to go.
Yet. Have to think about getting the prize cards to close the game out, moving the pace along, but no. That is the worst Pokemon to be staring down on the other side. Hisuian Goodra V-Star trying to work things out. This hand isn't going to be helping, though.
Cyrus is just going to have to rely on this Hisuian Goodra V-Star. Rolling Iron for the knockout.
Find the additional cross switcher.
So now Liam has double cross switcher in hand to go along with the Scoop Up Net. With a well. That's not going to be enough to take the knockout. You can Scoop Up Net the Zigzagoon for 190. But it's looking like here it's not going to be enough to take the knockout.
Yeah, just working on the Arceus V, a lot easier to get where maybe your opponent doesn't find a way to switch or retreat. We do see the Arceus V-Star. We do see a little more time here.
Yeah, and this actually opened up Cyrus's hand pretty well. Now they have access to Starbirth yet again. It's either double Boss in the hand for them or Boss Marnie. Two very different cards.
Liam reading Moisture Star to see if it can heal fish.
And there we see Starbirth. We're not going to see. And now they get a look through their deck, find a couple cards, maybe Hyper Potion, double Turbo Energy, heal off that Arceus a little bit more.
That's what I was thinking. See additional ways to potentially retreat if this Arceus V-Star is moved back into the active energies.
Here, any two cards for Cyrus they can pick, and just is there the cards left to actually win this game? Time's ticking down, 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, Liam, either way, having 2 turns potentially to close things out here. I don't think we're going to see it just yet. 1 second, and that is time, or at least what we would believe it to be. And
yeah, that is time. Cyrus's turn 0 to knockout after knockout, and I don't think that's possible.
yeah, the damage cap on this deck is just the rolling iron for 200. So going to just try to stick around with the double turbo and the hyper potion to heal off the Arceus V-Star. Points certainly still relevant if you're working towards perhaps top 16 finish, so got to keep playing in situations like this, even if you can't.
Double cross switcher still left in deck, but is there any scoop up net available?
I think we've seen at 3, which should be the full count.
Well, there's 4 in the deck.
Well, okay then. Yep, that is good information to have. Yeah, double cross switcher here. 180 damage. Switch retreat. Going to attack in, just hope that this Pokemon stays in the active spot for next turn. Cyrus only needing to retreat in order to stick around. Try to buy this turn.
Hope Liam doesn't have a way out of the active spot. And I don't think he does.
Yeah, these decks do not play switch, the main way to move from. Melanie going to be an option to get an additional water energy, checking the discard pile. We do see that 1 there, so an energy to retreat would be huge here. Or, yeah, I think that's basically it. Yeah. The training court could be a nice find if
depending
there's
on
additional
how many Pokemon career right now.
Is there any other thinning that can happen? We do see that quick ball, so thankfully spotting that going to pull. We do see 1, 2 waters, and
that's a 25% chance to get these cards.
That could be the difference between big closeout opportunity with the Melanie.
Here we go, Kyle. Melanie attaching to the active Origin Form Palkia. 3 cards, needs an energy.
Last one.
No! Oh, how heartbreaking.
Not there.
We'll confirm.
Gonna check.
Oh, just a few more cards down before that capacious bucket, and it's looking like, yes, this match is going to end in a tie. Not what you want to see for this winning in round 15. Both of these players played their heart out. And Cyrus able to stick around just a little bit longer, maybe making that top 16.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking for Liam. Had the
entire tournament, 15 rounds trying to battle it through, over 1,000 Masters players here for the Pokemon TCG. And that's going to make things a little bit interesting for our top 8.